Planning a trip should be the exciting part, right? But let's be honest, the actual planning, it can feel like a full-time job. Well, today, we're going to explore a pretty fascinating solution, a personal AI concierge that's built to take all that chaos out of your travel. Okay, let's just dive right into the mess because we have all been there. You start with this simple, great idea, hey, a weekend away, and then bam, your screen is just a sea of tabs. You've got flights over here, hotels over there, reviews, maps, blogs. It's a digital nightmare. You're trying to compare like dozens of hotels, and they all have different prices, different reviews, different locations. It's just a mountain of data you have to sort through all by yourself. And it's not just about the big choices, it's the little things. Is that museum even open on a Tuesday? What's the best way to get from the airport, really? This stuff requires constant, real-time lookups, which just adds another layer of work. So what's the end result of all this? You get hit with this massive decision fatigue. You get so bogged down by the planning that the actual excitement for the trip starts to just fizzle out. And that's the problem we're looking to solve here. So what if, just imagine, you could replace all that manual work with a single, simple conversation? This is exactly where the idea of an AI concierge or a smart agent comes in. It's a totally new way to think about planning your travels. Now, I want to be clear, this is way more than just a chatbot. A real AI agent doesn't just answer your questions, it actually does stuff. It gets your bigger goal, like plan a cheap trip, then it breaks that down, creates a plan, and uses tools like a web search to make it happen. And this really shows you the transformation. It's night and day. You go from juggling a million apps and getting generic advice to one single unified workflow. The agent automates all that tedious research to give you a plan that's actually personalized to you. So, how does this digital magic actually work? Well, it's not just one giant brain doing everything at once. The system is designed with a very deliberate step-by-step process. Let's take a quick peek under the hood. From a high level, the agent's logic is pretty intuitive, right? First, it has to figure out what you actually want. Then, it goes out and finds live, up-to-the-minute information. And this is crucial. It remembers your constraints, like your budget or dates, and then finally, it pulls everything together into a plan that makes sense. And here's what that looks like technically. Your simple request goes into what's called the reasoning agent. That's really the brains of the whole operation. It then uses tools, like a Google search, to grab live data. It checks its memory for your preferences, and then it passes all of that information over to an itinerary generator to build out that final, polished travel plan for you. So let's break that down into the agent's toolkit. You've got the reasoning brain, which understands what you mean, not just the words you type. It's got a Google search tool to find out what's happening in the world right now. It has memory, which is so, so important, because it's not just for this one trip. It's how the agent starts to learn your travel style for the future. And then you have the itinerary generator to put it all together. Okay, so that's all the theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Let's put it to the test. We're going to use a fantastic example, planning a trip to Paris with some very specific requests. This is the exact prompt. Look how simple and conversational that is. It's not some complicated command, it's just a request. It specifies 2 days, a low budget, and a very clear preference for Indian food. Let's see what it does. So what's the first thing the agent does? It tackles the big stuff, location and budget. It starts by searching for affordable places to stay in some of the most accessible and charming neighborhoods in Paris. And here's a little snapshot of what it came back with. See, it doesn't just throw a list of names at you, it gives you context. It suggests St. Christopher's Inn if you want a social vibe, or Hotel Muguet for its charm and location. It understands that budget doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. Pretty smart. Okay, next up, the agent zeroes in on that specific food request. It starts searching for highly rated Indian restaurants that also fit the whole budget-friendly theme of the trip. And the recommendations are fantastic. It finds authentic spots like Sarvana Bhavin, but it also finds something really unique like Kuna, which is Paris's first non-bar. That's a perfect find for a quick, affordable, and interesting meal. This just proves it's not just matching keywords, it's actually curating a real experience. And now for the main event, the itinerary. For day one, look how it cleverly mixes in free activities, like visiting the Sacré-Cœur Basilica and walking the Champs-Élysées with those specific restaurants it found. Lunch at Saravana Bhavan, dinner at Kuana. It's a perfect blend of everything the user asked for. Day two keeps up that smart planning. It suggests enjoying the Louvre from the outside for free, or visiting a free museum like the Musée Carnavale to save some cash. It even builds in time to just wander and explore, like a walk along the Seine. It's created a plan that's not just logical, it's actually enjoyable and realistic. As cool as this Paris plan is, you have to remember that this technology is really just getting started. What we're seeing here is the foundation for something, well, something much, much bigger. I mean, just imagine what's next. The agent could plug directly into booking APIs to give you real-time flight prices. It could adjust your itinerary on the fly if it suddenly starts to rain. It could remember that you love art museums from your last 3 trips and just proactively suggest them for your next one. This is the future of truly personal, dynamic travel planning. Which really leaves us with one final thought. If you had an intelligent, expert agent sitting there, ready to plan any trip, with any preference, down to the tiniest detail, what would be the very first trip you'd ask it to plan?